A year ago, my home city of Vilnius called itself
Hello everyone, and welcome to Vilnius. Dear enthusiasts, participants, innovators, believers, and all the beautiful people that decided to spend a beautiful afternoon together with us with Integrity Hackathon. It is my absolute pleasure to greet you all at this amazing grand final of our amazing project. Dear jury members and finalists, also hello to you, and of course huge thanks to the energizing performance goes to performer Tadas Dešukas. Can I ask for a round of applause for him? So once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those who are joining us the first time, I'd like to remind you, so what is happening here today? Integrity Hackathon is a challenge for transparency experts and enthusiasts. The aim of this hackathon is to come up with solutions that could and obviously should be implemented and developed, and to make our Europe a more transparent continent. It all began on a sunny and beautiful day at the end of September, where participants from all across Europe and beyond gathered together to create a better future. A total of 13 teams have reached the pitch stage and presented their ideas. 3 best ideas were chosen and were awarded with a golden ticket to be able to continue develop what they do and to have a chance to present their ideas today for the very strong and furious jury. Today we will be able to see what happened with the teams, how are they living, what did they achieve, and obviously to choose who will win the grand prize. Obviously, we're here not only to develop ideas, but also to win something, right? So the grand prize for this Integrity Hackathon this year is €15,000 value. Ever dreamed of studying or at least trying to touch something like Oxford or MIT? You know, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Today, the 3 winning teams have a real chance to grasp the main prize. Said that, it's time to present our honorable jury, the people that will make a selection and will help us to choose the best idea to be developed further. I'm delighted to also announce you that today all of our international jury members are also present here live in Vilnius. Allow me to introduce the jury members. I'd like to invite the first one. Žydrūnas Bartkus, Director at Special Investigation Service of Republic of Lithuania, President at European Partners Against Corruption and European Contact Point Network Against Corruption. Žydrūnas, I'd like to give you a microphone to say a greeting speech.
Hello, everyone.
Isn't it working? Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. We're sorry for the technical hiccups. It happens.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a great day for Lithuania, for Europe, for anti-corruption community. I would like to welcome you to this final of International Anti-Corruption Hackathon, and I wish good luck for the teams.
Thank you so much, Žydrūnas. Please join me and the jury panel. Now I'd like to invite the head of the jury, Martin Krutner, Dean Emeritus, International Anti-Corruption Academy and International Council. Hello to you too. Would you like to say something?
Thank you very much for the invitation. I think we have to pay tribute to all those who are not present today with us. For the first round, as was already said, we had another 10 teams additionally.
Yes, absolutely.
For their contributions, but today, as you said, it's about the gold medal, and we are looking very much forward to. What I can promise you, we won't have an easy job in selecting the final candidates, as the project looks all very, very promising, but we are sure we will have a result by the end of the day. Thanks very much for being here with us, and thanks very much for the initiative in particular.
Thank you so much for kind words, Mr. Martin. I'm very, very much excited. Okay, our next jury member, I'd like to invite Drago Kos, Chairman of the Working Group on Bribery in International Business Transactions, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It is working.
Well, good afternoon. It's really a pleasure and honor to be here in beautiful Vilnius. And as Martin said, already the semi-finalists were quite a difficult task for us. And today it's even worse. We have 3 teams which are really providing us with some brilliant ideas, and we will have a really tough job to decide which is the best one. But it doesn't matter who will be first, second, or third. They all three are winners.
Mr. Martin, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And I see from your attitude, it's not going to be an easy task. Okay, agreed. Let's move on. Our next person that I'd like to invite is Roberto Perez Roca, if I pronounce it correctly, Director at International Anti-Corruption Conference Series and Global Initiatives, also a representative from Transparency International. Mr. Roberto, would you like to say something? It's working.
It's on. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here representing Transparency International and the International Anti-Corruption Conference. I just want to echo what my colleagues and friends have said. It's going to be a really tough choice. All the projects are fantastic, and I would like to remind everybody that there is no such a thing as a bad idea. There are only good ideas, and we are here to support them in any way that is possible. So whoever is the winner, the best of lucks, but for the rest, I mean, you have already won and you have already gone pretty far in your project, so keep it on. Thank you.
It's like in the Olympics, participation is the key, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Our next jury member, Egle Radvile, author of Vilnius Digital Strategy, Digital Train Board, and Harvard Digital Program member. Hello to you, Egle. How are you feeling today?
Perfect, and I just want to wish everyone a little bit of game and go forward after that.
Okay, agreed. Thank you so much. Gerimantas Bakas, CEO at Vilnius District Heating Company. Hello, Gerimantas, to you, and also, would you like to say something?
It's the honor, a pleasure to be here with you today, and I want to say to our teams that I hope that you made some progress from the beginning of this hackathon, and I want to wish you all the best today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Gerimantas, for that. And dear everyone, we do have one more surprise for you. We do have jury members that will be evaluating the startups. But when speaking about the innovation, we couldn't stop from inviting someone that is actually investing into the innovative solutions. So it is my pleasure also to present to you Martynas Kanzaras, entrepreneur, angel investor, and board member at Lithuanian Business Angels Network. Martynas, can you join me on the stage, and can you say a couple of words? Why is investing and angel investing important nowadays?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this event. And you know, I think what social projects also need investment. I'm also investing not only in the business project, but in social project. And why it is important? It is important very much because every project should have some sustainability behind it and scalability. So if you are thinking from the beginning how you will scale and sustain the project, so I think it is an additional dimension for the project to be successful in the future. So
yeah, and to all of the teams that will be pitching today, it is obvious that there is someone from the board of Litban searching for new ideas. Hopefully, all of the teams, or some of the teams, or maybe one team will be invited to pitch at the Litban's monthly event, right?
yeah, we'll see.
We can expect
We'll
that.
see.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Martynas, for that. And now, let's remember the 3 finalist teams that got golden tickets to this amazing Integrity Hackathon final. First team, a Lithuanian team, Faircheck, tackled the challenge of transparent EU investments. The team proposed a software that would help solve the lack of experts administrating EU-funded investments and would automate the control and transparency of such projects. Second team, National Anti-Corruption Bureau Ukraine, or as I like to call it, NABU team, proposed an augmented reality project idea for raising society's anti-corruption awareness. The team suggests using the most innovative technology, focusing on the impact of corruption for society's well-being. Last but not least, the third team, Vilnius Vystymo Kompanija, tackled the Employee Resilience Barometer Challenge. The team's goal was to create a tool which would help any organization select the best candidate with the use of a flexible and effective measure based on neuro-linguistic programming principles. 3 great ideas that reached the very final. Which of them will has made the biggest progress? We will find out pretty much soon. So, before we begin, I'd like to turn to my honorable jury and maybe to ask you once again. We did it before, during our semi-final. Why do you think such initiatives as this hackathon is truly an important one in Europe? Who would like to say a couple of words? I know, it's not staged, it wasn't planned, so let's improvise here, okay?
We are prepared for that, actually.
Okay. Okay.
If I may take the liberty, I've been in the anti-corruption arena with some of my colleagues for pretty some time now. And at the beginning, normally there's a kind of a climax, and then things slow down a bit. And with events like this, we do hope, and as we have seen so far, definitely already, new ideas come up. We, of course, will check them today against applicability, against their practicability, and also about their sustainability. So it is important with all these developments that we don't stand still, that we further develop, and that we keep discussing new ideas, bring to the agenda new approaches, and that we also falsify things that have not worked out in the past. And therefore, any new idea is more than welcome, and we are looking very much forward to today's presentation. So thanks very much again for the initiative.
Amazing, amazing. Mr. Drago, are we solving the past issues? Are we actually looking to the future and we are getting more new problems to tackle in? What's your point? What's your
Well, the traditional anti-corruption tools do not work as they used to do years ago. So we have to invent something new. We need new approaches. And this hackathon is really a perfect example of ideas which can help us for the future. So we are not creating new problems. We are creating, let's say, new solutions, hopefully. But let's say, having in mind that we all know, let's say, the 3 ideas which will be presented today, all of them might help, let's say, to increase the pace of global anti-corruption efforts again, which is badly needed in these crazy times.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Mr. Roberto, do you have your own favorite team already?
I will not tell you.
There you go.
I will not tell you.
Okay, understood. So, thank you so much for your answers. Let's move on. Maybe let's move on to the things that we are gathered here for, right? Let's move on to the first pitch, and I'd like to invite the first team, Faircheck and Karolis Šužda or Rolandas Terminas, to present their own idea. Gentlemen, please join me. Here's the clicker. You have your 10 minutes for your presentation.
So, hello everyone. Nice to see you here. Thank you very much for participating, letting us to participate. We have a huge problem here, and we want to make it simple. I see a crowd of people with different professions, with different points of angles, and I understand that we all, these days, are digital. Digital people, digital applications, digital fraud. It's all connected. I will tell you everything. Don't worry. Is it working? Oh. Okay. Let's see the video.
Faircheck is an artificial intelligence-based tool, enabling creators and agencies to instantly analyze quality of the code. Integrity Hackathon, organized in Vilnius, made the team understand the importance of analyzing digital projects. In addition to, Faircheck web application is well designed to be used by the responsible authorities to analyze whether the submitted project is free of plagiarism. The project is based on the team of Lithuanian professionals, sharing their knowledge in different fields of science, including maths, software engineering, legal technology. The tool is capable to maximize potential of the projects and startups, ensuring the developed project fully complies with the requirements of the proposed funding. It's no secret that digital projects potentially account for the majority of government-sponsored projects, so businesses hiring programmers or government agencies checking project compliance must have appropriate measures in place to avoid any form of illegal activity. In other words, it easily solves the problem of potential corruption, fraud or ineffective use of European and national funds. While project version of FairCheck is still in development, it already shows a huge potential in redesigning how the responsible agencies analyze and businesses prepare digital projects. Thank you for watching and stay with us to learn more.
Okay, everything works.
Yeah,
Let's dive in.
The video. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you'd like to present?
Of course,
You still have
obviously.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, let's
yep.
go.
So we have a huge problem here, and we will try to make it as simple as possible. Let me start with a joke. Do you know what is the biggest lie in the digital universe? It sounds like this. I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions. Everyone, every day, agrees to the terms and conditions, and no one cares. No one actually look to what is written and understand it. What the hell is perpetual license? Let's leave it for lawyers or for technical guys, for everyone else, but not me, yeah? No. Actually, it's a problem. And what our team did, we thought it like this. Terms and conditions is a source code of every application which is submitted as a project in the European funding scheme or local funding scheme. So we thought outside the box and supported our thinking with statistics. Actually, around 40% of digitalization projects are based on digital funding made by European Union. Fraud happens not frequently, but very usually. Actually, it's around every half of project is based on fraud problem. So basically, financial losses varying from the source code backed up by the fraud activity is around 5% of annual revenue of the proposed funding. Errors on the other angle, that is caused by the businesses submitting projects and hiring professionals are another problem. So we will cover that too. And so this led us to make a startup that is going to the market with the word of FairCheck. What we want to do, we want to give a tool to every national agency, to every person who wants to, every startup who wants to check, to easily verify code requirements with the submitted application, with the application requirements, to check the security issues, to check the plagiarism issues, and to give it, to have a sure of what has been submitted as a project. And with this kind of tool, we understand that it can solve many tasks, but the main thing, it can give transparency, it can give reliability, it can protect intellectual property, it can enhance quality and security, and then it can save time and money. It can do anything we want, and it was not possible to do that because no national agencies have enough resources to verify the code of the applications that were submitted to the agencies. Basically, it can come up to the very nightmare scenario. For instance, you have 200,000 project that was published in the local agency backlog. And another agency has already done this project a year ago. And the application submitted is already based on the same project. So basically, it was double funded. It's a fraud. It's a loss of cash. So our mission is very simple, is to make solution that could be accessed very easily. It's like open your Google account. You just input the code, input the application with the source code, and you have a result. The same thing every bank do with their customers in KIDS procedure. That's so simple. That's very fantastic competitive landscape of our competitors. The problem is we don't have competitors. Why? It's so simple, because our tool is the only one that could offer plagiarism quality check, environmental, in the environment that is easily accessible to the specialists of the local agencies and to the businesses. They want to do that. Basically, our tool let us give to the market what could be called as concentrated solution. We have 5 models to go, and in each model, I will cover that in a minute, we offer incredible options. So it could be used by many customers, by innovation agencies, as I said, by developers, buyers, community experts, or national agencies. And to describe it better, we made a plan. We would like to actually make it available in a business case that is so simple. It's no need to content market this very much. Actually, the problem is so big that innovation agency, Lithuanian Innovation Agency, for instance, or universities hearing about our project is already in very high interest to have it, because they have not seen anything like this. This is our structure of how the solution works. Let's not dive into details, but I just want to tell you that our project could be made in steps, and for every step you get more transparency in the project verification. So basically you can even get a score like Ocredo dues, you can check quality of the code, you can check plagiarism issues, you can check whether your funding really goes to the intended source. That's important. That's a huge amount of cash. What is more interesting, we have a prototype for our project, and it works right now. For some of the requirements, we can already check what can be done. And basically, we can have a report. The real report on what kind of source code has been submitted, and what kind of quality of the code and the plagiarism issues we have. We have development plan, which is basically very accurate. We have time needed, because for this decision to go air, you need an accurate plan. And we have a project cost, which will be covered by could be covered with different type of alternatives, revenue and alternatives, like license per month or license per user. Our core values is very important to us. We want to do everything, including saving time, giving customer service, but most importantly, we want to cover the problem with the funding that is not covered in any way right now. We would like to go air in the nearest future. In the first 2 quarters of the next year, we have a team behind this, wonderful guys.
What is important for IT professional?
Yes, of course.
Security, system engineering, and we have our inside competition.
Practicing in national defense industry, doing with major international projects. Before working together, let's quickly play our prototype. We still have 40 seconds, it's enough.
So, 20 seconds left. Are we still looking at the prototype? Yeah, I see the video is coming up on the screen.
It will make only 30 seconds for us.
We can wait for it.
And
So
we have good news, two news for us. Yesterday and today we have a message from Innovation Agency and crowdfunding one company for...
So you got a letter of intent from them, right?
Yeah,
Amazing. So what's the deal size?
I think...
We will not cover this
Yeah.
today because we want...
You didn't discuss money? What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes people are shy, you know.
Okay, the time is up. If we will be able to look at the video.
It's not a problem, only one message. We have a computer, the prototype working in the computer, you can try it yourself if you want. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so
Have
much.
a nice
Carlos and Rolandas.
other
Can I ask
meetings.
for a round of applause? Gentlemen, you're staying here with me. You're staying here in Q&A.
Okay, okay.
The most important part, you think we gathered all these beautiful people here just because we want to?
Okay.
Okay, so now we have 10 minutes for the Q&A. Dear jury, who would like to start with the first question?
Thanks very much, first of all, for the presentation, and secondly, also for the added value since the semi-finals. My question would be just a pretty direct one. If I were the head of an academic institution, or if I were the head of an audit institution, what would you argue if I would say these kind of software solutions we already have? We already have plagiarism software, we already have some other kind of software. So what is the added value that you bring to the table, number one? Question number two, you were referring to quite often to codes. Which codes are you referring to, and where do you get them from?
Actually, it's the first question we have answered before starting the project. Actually, there is no plagiarism system currently working. It's only the quality check and the security check systems that are close to our product we are offering. Our product could analyze every language, despite the fact from what kind of source it goes. And I think we cover not only plagiarism part, but we also touch on live reputation, give a score for security matters, and that constitutes in a huge construction which could be accessed by the national agencies and businesses that could not understand things so deeply very easily.
But how is that done?
How is that done?
Yeah.
By our algorithms. We have some algorithms working right now, and by giving in the project direct input of the data from the public databases, from the universities' databases, because we need to compare data. So data is the main factor, but it's no problem anymore because data is easily accessible.
Okay, I have to again apologize for my naivety, but how or why is your algorithm better than hundreds and thousands of algorithms out on the market already?
Because in the market there is only quality verification, so code quality verification, and security verification algorithms. There is no algorithm that could check plagiarism of the code. So we don't have competitors. And that's why there is a huge interest from the national agencies already. They want that tool because they cannot use any of the tool existing in the market, because it's not enough for them to check quality of the code.
And to have all possibilities in one tool. But
they want to do it in a way that could show that project submitted by some businesses or applicants is already made or not made in the past. So in this way, they can check whether it was plagiarized or not. Maybe it's just another project to go.
Mr. Martin, does that answer to your question?
Not really. I'm sorry, I'm naive and I'm not a technician.
No, sorry.
With the explanations that you presented, I would see you rather in the area working with intelligence agencies and not with anti-corruption authorities.
No, it's...
Again, what is the difference between your algorithm and any other on the market? Because obviously you're saying yours is special, but what makes it special?
Because there are two important factors. One of the factors is that could understand every language, and another factor, it could not only check the quality of the code, the static code, but could understand the structure of the application. So that is not accessible in any other tool. And for the part of security agencies, it's not, because if you are university or like business, you may want to check what your contractors has already done to you, because they may have fooled you, and you can submit project without knowing that it was already done before. So basically, our algorithm could avoid static code verification issue. It's technical term, but we can cover that in the prototype if you want after that.
For technical side is the problem when you get for inspection one tool with several programming language. And when open source tools or when another source is the problem, not checked.
Yeah, it's working.
More or less, I mean, on the same line as my colleague Martin, if I would need to explain this to my mother during a Sunday afternoon, I mean, how exactly would you explain it to her?
You have a Google that could check whether application you have is plagiarized or not. Is that enough easy?
Possibly to me. To my mother, I'm not sure.
Can you provide an example from daily life?
Yep.
For his mother.
That's good. That's good point. That's good point. We have, for instance, the mapping application. I mean, that could provide, I don't know, tracking information of, for instance, public transport. Yeah, and that application was already created in another country of European Union. So it was submitted like a project. The funding was agreed for 300,000, and there is another application in another country, and that agency gives a fair check tool to check this application, and they realize that the same application was already proposed in another country of the European Union. We saved 200,000.
When innovations agency in daily life control else functionality documents, but not source code. Source code is the shadow layer.
Actually, source code is terms and conditions, as we said. No one really understands it, and no one gives a chance to deeply investigate it, because you need knowledge and you don't have time. All the national agencies are overwhelmed with work. And we need a simple tool that could red flag the issue. If that red flag happens, you can appoint an expert in field and check in deeply. But right now, nothing checks nothing. So that's a problem.
I think that satisfies my question. Second question is, if your sustainability and growth plan is about selling licenses.
Of course.
What will you do with the 50,000 euros if you win them?
Actually, we have a plan what to do. We have a plan covered in accurate steps, what is transmitted to our working hours, to needed hardware tools, to needed marketing campaign, and to the required next steps to go into a market. Basically, we have to launch the first model, not in the alpha version, not in the beta version, but actually to the version that could be sold to the market, because right now it's only the prototype. That's the idea of the hackathon. So I think we will start working ASAP.
Okay, well, we still have time. Yeah.
See, your algorithm is obviously it's comparing the source code with what is out there already. So how do you limit the range of, let's say, of the search? Is it searching only, let's say, within, let's say Lithuania, because we are in Lithuania now, or Europe or world? You said it's not limited by languages because it can compare any language, but I'm really interested, how do you limit the search?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have thought about it very deeply, and basically the thing is that we read depositories like GitHub, other hubs, and in where you have a public information available with all the, basically not all, but many of the source codes. There is one input source, another is university environments. We have already talked to some universities, and they agreed to share you the database if we can, I don't know, exchange data and let other universities to use this tool. So that's second angle, and the third angle is we can, I don't know, we can use another national agencies with their databases already to check what is already published to them. So every national agency could intershare the information, and that is not a problem. We have everything we need. We just need to I don't know, to have a waiver signed by the businesses. And what is more important, we have also covered confidentiality issue and human rights issue, because the application we are offering could analyze the code without a human eye. So basically, you just only get a report, like a banking report, whether you are credible or not, A, C, B, D rating. So basically, no one really sees the personal codes in there. No one really sees what could be considered as confidential information. It only says to you, does it have a red flag or not?
The bank, that means you would have to get the agreement of the bank.
No. It's just a matter of example.
It's fine. Let's stay with the bank.
Yep.
So in order to get let's say the information from the bank, you will need their approval to get into their database.
Or just use the credit credit information source from another I know another systems that is available. We can do model on that. It's not a problem.
Okay, gentlemen, now let's turn to the investor's perspective, and I maybe like to, Matthias, maybe you can join me also here for the viewers to be able to see who is talking, right?
Okay, so maybe
let's speak about the money now, right?
Yeah, maybe I will give feedback, actually. So I really like your presentation. I really feel the passion which you have for the product, actually, and for the problem as well. So I believe that there is some problem in the market, and you already created a product. But the bad news, it is not enough. So the question is, what is the business model behind your product and how you will sell? So for example, what kind of channels you will use, in which countries you will go, and I think it should be thought through. So you showed the slides, but you went very quickly. So for me was, the feeling that, maybe you don't like this part. You like...
Or someone is hiding something.
Yeah, and you like the product part, So, and if you want to create a successful business, so you have to do two things, product and also business model. Another thing which also I want to mention about the competition. You said there is no competition, so I don't believe you. There is always competition, because at the moment, somehow, this agency is doing things, like they are checking. So it is the current way of doing things is the main competitor. So you will have to persuade the institution to tend to your product. In any case, if the product will be successful, it will be plenty of guys like you creating the same product. So be prepared for the competition. And another, could I?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And another, thing is about focus. So you showed quite a lot of, clients and customers to which you are willing to sell, But for this, you will need quite a huge amount of money, because you will need to hire salespersons, you will have to make a marketing, and etc. So my maybe advice is just to focus on the narrow client, maybe institution, and to make some pilot maybe, and then to scale to clients.
From
because
public to business.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I think it's very good news that you already have some letter of intent. Yeah. So don't hide it, and always say for investors that you already have a letter of intent, because it's the most important thing, that this solution is already validated. And somebody is interested in this solution. So as investor, I start to listen to you. Okay, so maybe you have something at your belt. Yeah,
what do you think about the licensing as a business model? Is it the best way to sell this project, or there should be other hypotheses being on the table?
I think it should be other hypotheses on the table as well. Yes, I think when you're, maybe for some customer, it could be licensed. But for some customer, yeah, I think
dedicated product just to go with that.
So, so it should be
very good thoughts.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Martinas, and thank you so much, guys, for your presentation. That was the first team. Can we ask for a round of applause for them? It's not easy to begin. Okay, dear jury, you still have a few moments to make your marks before I invite our second pitching team, and I'd like to invite on this live stage the team with the name Nabu and presenter Svetlana Olifera. Svetlana, please join me on stage. And I'm aware there's some surprise that is being prepared for us. Okay. You need some space? Should I disappear?
No.
I shouldn't, yeah?
Can I have the clicker, please?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously.
Okay, so Ukraine, 2022. A guy is walking down the street thinking,
that road to work again, no electricity, the trolley buses have stopped, and these air raid sirens spoil life. The war has changed everything, but not corruption. It just remains. Will it always be like this? I wonder if corruption can be eradicated. No way. It has always been there. What can I do? A future without corruption? Is this possible, or is it just my augmented reality?
Hello, I'm Svetlana from Nabu's team. We are from the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine. Our project is the Anti-Corruption Augmented Reality. It's common knowledge that corruption has become an integral part of everyday life in Ukraine. It's like a habit, and we hardly imagine what life without corruption could be. That is why people continue to bribe public officials and then complain about their miserable life. According to the CPI in 2021, Ukraine scored 32 points out of 100 possible and ranks 122nd out of 180 countries. Our project is aimed at showing a possible anti-corruption future for Ukraine. We will tell the story about corruption destroying the present, about the desire to profit here and now threatening future generations, and the success of the state in 5, 10 or 20 years. The good way to attract an audience to the problem of corruption and to raise awareness is using cutting-edge technologies. The idea behind the project is using a series of photo posters before and after. Each poster reflects one problem caused by corruption: environmental problems, low-level education and medicine, high tariffs, road quality leading to road accidents, chaotic development, etc. After downloading the Anti-Corruption Augmented Reality app, a person directs their smartphone onto a poster and sees a different reality: a modern school or kindergarten, a park instead of a shopping center, a swimming pool instead of a parking lot. Each poster will have a QR code leading to a landing page where more information on this or that problem is given, based on cases from real life and investigations. The page will also contain useful info on anti-corruption tools, contacts of anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies, human rights NGOs for reporting. Our target group is urban residents with middle wealth aged 18 to 60. We plan to implement the project by putting poster exhibitions on the central squares and railway stations of 10 Ukrainian cities and attract a wide audience. To implement the project, we plan to involve the partners such as anti-corruption agencies, NGOs, international missions. We expect our project to attract 50,000 visitors of the exhibition, 5,000 downloads of the Anti-Corruption Augmented Reality app, and page visits via the QR code with the average time on page 1 minute. Thank you for your attention. Slava Ukraini!
Yeah, and I'll try to be quick. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for having all of us here. It's a great pleasure and a great honor to stand here and tell about fight against corruption. And I want to suggest you imagine that your dream, our dream of Ukraine without corruption could really be one step closer to reality. To attract an audience, as we've already mentioned, to the problem of corruption and to raise their awareness, we're using cutting-edge technologies. To show the augmented reality, we came up with a movable exhibition, the cube. It consists of several cubes that are made of translucent plastic. Each side of the cube contains a poster. On the one side of a cube, there is a description of the project, and on the three others, there are different corruption cases, like this one you can see here. And the cube needs no electricity for itself, and it also can be placed both inside and outside, so it's no problem where to put it. Each poster on this cube consists of 4 main elements. A photo, as you may see, which is an AR marker, a text explaining the photo, instructions on how to interact with the photo, QR codes leading to the landing page. Each poster reflects one problem caused by corruption. For example, here we have the road quality. We also show you an example of environmental problem and illegal development. So those are only 3 of multiple possible cases we will use. To interact with the poster, you need to use the anti-corruption augmented reality web app. So at this stage, you don't need any mobile application. You just need your smartphone and your mobile internet connection. Thanks to this web app, the image in the poster is replaced by augmented reality, and you just need to point your smartphone on the picture, and you will see through this web application new reality, an alternative reality without corruption. In addition, you also can follow the link you will have on this page and read more about each case, about each investigation that NABU and SAPO and other anti-corruption institutions were involved to, and join so-called anti-corruption forces. So be the part of this anti-corruption team of Ukraine and have a certain tool to contribute yourself to the fight against corruption. So the replacement of the image is based on the so-called story before-after. So on the picture, you can see the real situation, the real story. This is the real road in Ukraine. It exists, actually. And when you put your smartphone camera on this picture, you may see the alternative reality. And now I will show you how it works. So imagine this is your smartphone. Of course, you don't have it such big size, but this is your smartphone camera. Just imagine, and I'll try to somehow adjust. Yeah, and well, now you see the new road. I will show you it like here. So this is the old road, and this is the new one. And every person will see the same with their smartphone camera. Okay. And well, also our poster contains text. So in case you don't have mobile internet, you still can read about the case, you still can read about the project and learn more about fight against corruption in Ukraine and about successful cases, because under these photos, we actually put information about real cases connected to that certain case, yeah, to that certain episode of corruption influences our real life. And of course, in our augmented reality, we posters, we have two QR codes. One of them leads to the section of the landing page when you can read more materials about the case. You can see photos, you can see videos, you can see articles, because we are using only those cases that were familiar to the society, that were well known and covered widely in the media at the time of their investigation and afterwards. And the second QR code actually leads to the so-called Join the Anti-Corruption Forces page. That means that this page contains a lot of tools for you to join this fight against corruption. For example, it contains phone numbers and contacts of different anti-corruption institutions in the country, NGOs, and useful information on how to say no to corruption if you were asked to, I don't know, to give a bribe, for example. What to do, what are your first actions, you know. And next one, this is how the landing page look like. And also, we plan to start with visiting 10 cities of Ukraine. This is our first step for now, because we are really keen on re-implementing this project as soon as it is possible. That is why we chose 10 cities only in the part of our country. But after the victory, we will also take this exhibition to other countries all over Ukraine, because we have a lot of cases all over Ukraine and a lot of success stories too. We plan to cooperate with Ukrzaliznytsia. This is Ukrainian railway company, to place exhibition at the train stations. We already have, we in the country, I mean, already have successful cooperation with this company, because this is like state company, and it is, it is okay for them to have different exhibitions at the railway stations. We have one now in Kiev, and it actually is really popular. It also contains photos, and people are, while waiting for their train, they are reading, watching, looking around, and having conversation about this problem that the exhibition shows. So we have, here are our KPIs as we see them for now. And also we have calculated our approximate budget. We recalculated it after semi-final, so now it's 2,000 euros more than it was before. Yeah, and we already called to some companies to have real numbers for certain stages of implementation of this project. Moreover, we are negotiating with our potential partners, international partners, who will help to implement this project next year. And they are the European Union Anti-Corruption Initiative in Ukraine and the US Agency for International Development. So we have their primarily approval on financing our project and making this together. And here they are. And finally, we draw your attention to an important part of the project, that it will not end with an exhibition in the 10th city. We will improve this project. The landing page of the project will be live and developed into a mobile app. This will be like independent mobile application you should download from your Apple Store or Google Play Market, and then you will have this landing page with you. So you will have online 24/7 access to whole anti-corruption success cases and investigations. You will get push-up notifications on updates. You will have possibility to tell your own story and in that way to contribute to the fight against corruption, showing that there are a lot of people who say no to corruption every day and who succeed in that. Also, we plan to add new corruption investigations and also integrate a report corruption form, so that with the help of this application, you don't need any other tools. You just put the information and that's it. It goes to the certain body. Yep. Thank you.
I can say right on time. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Svetlana. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
presentation. It seems like a very exciting solution. And it's obviously you did move on further, right? Dear jury, we do have 10 minutes for your amazing questions. See, Agla would like to start, right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Try to stand
And
close.
I want to ask about your team.
Yep.
What kind of skills or competence are here?
Well, my team is not very big. There are like 20 people, 12 people, I'm sorry. I wish I have 20, but I have only 12 people in the communications department at NABU. We have copywriters, we have a designer, we have a photographer and videographer, we have a project manager, and we have also our IT guy here. He's here, and he's actually made this thing that we just showed you like in a day, I think so.
So all competence you have in-house?
Yeah, except for printing. So we will need only those companies to print and to build the construction. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you in this hackathon. It's a pleasure for us as well to see you in Vilnius. My question is, when you generated idea of this for this hackathon, you know, sometimes projects could be more focused on implementation, on how to build cube, how tall cube could be, and only second part could be about content. Yes, but sometimes more attention to first part can make a project unsuccessful. So how much attention you paid to the content about how to attract people to come to this cube and to use their mobile to check information and to think 1 minute, as you told?
Yeah, you read my thoughts, actually. We are paying a lot of attention to the content because it is crucial for us to show people that it is really possible to do something about the corruption, because, well, it's common knowledge that we are living every day with that, and not only in Ukraine but all over the world. Well, actually, that is why we try to choose those cases that are close to people, like to their everyday life, because you're using this road every day, walking or riding to your workplace and to your home, back visiting your relatives in other cities and so on. You're using those roads. You see how they lead to road accidents and so on. If you have kids, you're using the school or kindergarten, and you see that your child could not visit like a swimming pool because there is no one. There is no swimming pool, yeah, because there is a parking lot instead, you know. And this is real life. So this is why we pay a lot of attention to choose those cases that are familiar to people, that are close to their everyday life, and then that are in some way successful, that it is already solved and the corruption is already eradicated in those cases. And you can see the results. So it's not something, I don't know, some illusion or something far in the future that you need to wait for a long time. This is the reality, and it is possible, and you can choose it. You know, that there is a thought that you live in the reality you want to live in. So our main task is to bring this emotion, to make people want to live in other reality, different from the one they had before. And our first stage is to attract more youngsters and youth, first of all, because they using their gadgets more often than we do. And after that, we want to go wider. We want to have this mobile application. We want to have this landing page, both not only in your phone, but also online. And if, for example, a person don't have this mobile internet with them, they can just go to web and get all that information from there.
Oh, that's a very long answer to a question. Okay, we still have some 5 minutes left.
I mean, I am so full of questions. I have so many questions. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So let me start with a very short reflection that maybe summarizes 80% of my questions, a couple of recommendations, and then the question. So the reflection is that you went through a marathon in the thinking and in the design process, but somehow it feels that 10 meters before crossing the line, you said, this is enough. I'll just walk the rest of the 10 meters. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Then the recommendations are, and you already gave the answers, that you may want to be looking at a younger target audience, maybe starting with 10 years or maybe 8 years, who are actually more active than potentially people from 30 years, which is kind of in the middle of your group. And secondly, which turns into the question itself, is then what? I have seen the box, I have gone to the website, I have imagined a future, a better future, and then what? What should be the call for action for the people that you manage to engage all that way? Because if you know how the stats go, for every 10,000 people that may actually be looking at the cube, you will get maybe 3 who actually go to the website. And if you get 1 person who gets engaged, that's actually a success. So the question for that person, now that you have it there, is then what? Yep. Is that enough just to look at the websites and to look at some links to some NGOs or whatever?
You know, well, thank you for your question. I forgot to mention that together with this exhibition, we will have side events to tell more people about these cubes and that they can find them in certain locations and to attract attention. And then what? Well, actually in Ukraine we have this problem. Well, corruption is bad. Yeah, we need to fight it. Do you know how? No. So this is what? We are giving people the answer to this question. Then what? Then if they face the corruption, they have the algorithm. Right in their pocket, for example. They can download the certain page with the short advices and contact numbers. So in the next, well, you're not like, you are not asked for, Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. So this is what we're suggesting them. Yep, sorry.
Mr. Girmentos?
Yeah, my question, very close to question to Roberto, actually, how do you measure the success of your activity? You mentioned about KPIs, 50,000 visitors, but maybe you think about other KPIs, actually.
Well, other big one, KPI, that we have, this is the CPI index and the level of activity of people who witness corruption, of their reporting corruption to certain institutions that are responsible for the investigation of this corruption. Because for now, people sometimes are confused where to they should go with this corruption or that corruption, yeah, with low-level corruption, middle-level corruption, etc. And having all those numbers in one phone or in one application, they can direct those like directly, yeah, like this.
Okay, we still have time for
questions. You did not consider to put these cubes in front of your ministries. but this is not the question. No, this is not the question. The real question is, you said there's a parking lot, and instead of it, people will be able to see a swimming pool. Mm-hmm. Who's the one deciding that there will be a swimming pool, and not, let's say, I don't know, a football pitch?
Well, the school should.
Okay, yeah, but it is you who is putting this together?
Yeah, that was the initial project actually, because this is the case from real life. So due to initial project, the school should have a swimming pool there, and then they just...
It gave its territory to the developer.
And
developer took up, he said, okay, we take the territory, but we built a swimming pool here. But they didn't, they just put a parking lot instead.
So this is like a
all the cases are from real life. This is the key point about the project. Oh.
If I would offer you a Ferris wish, where would you see yourselves with this project in 3 years' time?
Well, I wish to believe that I'll be in Ukraine, and I'll be surrounded with people who have open-hearted and who make Ukraine without corruption with their everyday actions.
Okay. Then, fair enough with the CPI, but make your system of references broader than just the CPI. Okay? You deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm expecting your presentation at the UN Assembly in the main hall, right, in 3 years, as a very big and successful project. Okay, now let's turn again to Martinas and let's listen maybe a reflection towards your presentation from the investor's perspective.
Okay, so thank you. I really like what you're doing, actually. So maybe a few ideas. So first of all, I also belong to one NGO and I'm responsible for fundraising. So what I saw, and I agree, but you need to have the KPI, very strong KPI, what social change you will do in the society. And then if you want to fundraise, you have to show this always and always. So it should to be your main message. So one thing. Another maybe idea, maybe you could, I think what you are creating some kind of movement. And your biggest value is your brand, how you will be recognized in the market. So maybe also you could think about the organizations which could be involved in this movement. For example, in Lithuania, maybe in Ukraine you have already, but in Lithuania we have Baltoji Banga, for example, organization where companies join this organization if we are anti-corruption organization. And it is prestige to have the brand of Baltoji Banga for the companies. So maybe it could be also the source of funding for your movement as you're creating. And the third thing, maybe also community. Maybe to think, how to involve more, maybe just to create some jumpers or maybe some, marks here to carry on, and maybe community could fund you as well, For example, €1, $1 per month or per quarter, it could be, your funding, because if you grow, you definitely will need money. And this money will come, maybe from a private person, maybe from an organization, or maybe from your community. So, yeah, maybe a few ideas, but congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. That actually was the thing I was wondering while listening. This project should empower people more and should give them more tools to actually become a part of it and to make it more scalable, right? But maybe that's a thought for the future. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Team Nabu, for your presentation, Svetlana, and other team members for presenting an amazing project. Now, let's move on to our third pitching team, and I'd like to ask each and everyone to turn to the screen, because now we will see the Vilnius Vystymo Kompanija presentation.
Let's find our employee resistance barometer. Whatever it's a contractor or full-time employee, we help businesses to find and hire anyone, anywhere effectively. We want to solve a problem that organizations waste a lot of time interviewing candidates who do not meet the level of their required criteria. We offer you a solution to use our Find Your Bee platform and make it easier to find resilient candidates. Save time, focus on people, and save your money. With Find Your Bee, companies can upload their own values, choose from among the following, select and send a value-targeted challenge to their candidates. Find Your Bee has many competitive advantages. Cost-effective because of less administrative work, compliant with local law, comprehensive, help to find a suitable candidate, and also you will use innovative platform. We are sure that our market size is the whole world, especially business to business. So let's take a look how it works in real-life business recruitment process. First, company measure the barometer degree by fulfilling the test internally. Second, check the result of your company barometer degree. Third, invite your chosen candidate to complete the test. Four, candidate completes Find Your Bee test anywhere is convenient. Candidate gets an individual code from you and enters it here. Give short introduction about the test to the candidate and let him decide if the candidate agrees to continue. If yes, just press start. And what's left is to choose the answers and submit the test. Candidate can take as long as needs to complete it. Five, easily check the match between your candidates and company's barometer degree. And 6. Invite your candidate to meet and continue interview cycle. So relax and enjoy. When you know that the result of transparency are relevant to your organization, the live meeting with the candidate will be more efficient and productive. Don't forget that Find Your Bee is easy to use, focused on people, and saves companies money and time. Don't worry and be transparent.
So let's now move to the live presentation, right? So I present you once again the team Vilnius Vystymo Kompanija and Karolina and Urte.
Hello everyone. It's really nice to be here and thank you for this possibility. And as you see in our presentation, in our video, we have a prototype, and in our prototype there was a test that must be passed by our employees or your company candidates. So maybe there is a question how you should create this test. So it's really easy to do that. First of all, the person in charge who chooses the values linked to the organization strategy. That's the main thing. The second, you should choose the questions based on these values. And then, after this, the system generates this test, and you can use it for your employees or candidates. And after you prepare the test, you create the test, you have to make manually setup. setup is for questions, because for values and questions. All values has its weight. Also, every fitted answers has its weight. And full test should be like should have weight as 100%. And then the system's algorithms calculates barometer value depend on setup. Who should prepare this test? And we think that the company should decide who will be this person who can prepare this test. So it could be HR people, it could be director, it could be steering committee, it could be compliance manager, and etc.
Another question what we need to answer ourselves and to you, of course, is how we protect the data. So first of all, what we need to understand that in this platform, we only use candidates' credentials. So there won't be any personal data as CV, telephone number, or etc. And basically, after the recruitment process is over, the data is deleted from the platform and from the program. And one important thing is that if the candidate, before deciding if he wants to make a test, decides that he doesn't and press the button cancel, as you can see in the video, then the data will be deleted automatically and immediately. Moving forward, what is also important that we try to find our competitors in the market, and we noticed that all the HR platforms, such as Bamboo, SAP, or Business Central products, does have the applications and the tools who helps to find the candidates by quantity. Attract a lot of candidates from whom you can choose, but it does not evolve around the values and around the soft skills of the candidates. It can ask him or her or everybody or everyone what is your skills, qualification, and what is your history of previous employments, but what are your values in core and how you understand or treat one or another situation. It is difficult to find such tool. So Find Your Bee platform helps to check internal values, check candidates' values, and choose and find the ones who meet the level. And finally, I believe, and we believe basically, that Find Your Bee should be in the market because it is an addition to already existing products, and we say for our internal competencies that we can create and already created a prototype. Now we need to make and give more time to develop it more, to create larger tools, maybe more user-friendly tools, and afterwards use it internally in the company, advertise to our partners, and then the market in Lithuania, Latvia, and furthermore Europe. So briefly, that's it, and thank you.
Thank you so much. You saved almost 5 minutes, so maybe we will add it to the Q&A session. And you just reminded me about the few startups I know personally in Lithuania. They call this process a vibe check, and they usually invite the potential candidates to the parties because alcohol helps to unfold the inner demons. Exactly, exactly my point, but maybe that's just a side comment. Dear jury, do we have questions?
I can start. I have so many questions.
Oh my God.
Not really. One is kind of a question of clarification. I mean, because at the end of the day, here we are all for kind of fighting corruption and transparency. So, I mean, this seems to me like one part of a hiring process. Is just one step in the hiring process, like a filter of the hiring process. But how important it is in your model in the overall hiring process? That's number one. And number two, how do you think that it could fundamentally contribute to stop corruption in hiring processes, which is kind of a quite pervasive, especially in the public sector, you know, bribing to get a position, so on and so forth. And my second question is a little bit more tricky, and it has to do more with kind of the behavioral sciences. How do you make sure, or try to make sure, that the candidates are actually not lying when answering the questions?
Okay, so maybe let's start from the second question, because it is, we internally in the companies, I believe you also have the experience, we also have experience when we have internal tests or surveys regarding the anti-corruption. And first, one of those questions is, do you receive or do you give the bribe? So it's very easy to lie by answering these questions. Our idea is that our questions are related on the situations which are not usual. For example, picking oranges from the pile in the market, and you have 3 possible answers, which has the, how to say, algorithm inside and the explanation what each answer is meaning. So it's not the straightforward thing. So that's how, okay, maybe if your IQ is 200 and you can manipulate the questions, the situation can be, of course. But in the regular processes of business, we believe that we can avoid that within the complexity of the content of the questions. And answering first question, if maybe you could repeat it, please.
Yeah, so basically, how could this step in a hiring process that you're offering help to actually combat corruption and bring more transparency in hiring processes, particularly with the public sector?
So first of all, we are not looking only for the hiring processes, we're looking for internal processes as well. So company measures the degree of the transparency. And basically what they need to start to work with is internal values. So if the corruption or some kind of shadow of corruption is still within the organization, it doesn't matter what kind of candidate will come to the organization. If that candidate has a strong will personally, he will maybe go to authorities or maybe quit the job. But if that person has a different personality, it can be sucked within those company values, which is not completely resilient. So companies need to start from themselves, make the changes if needed, and then use the tool to find the fitable candidate.
Just a quick follow-up question. So you would have suggested to use this system in Twitter with Elon Musk?
Basically, yeah.
For him.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I got right, this is not a ready-made tool which can be applied for every working post in a company, because you said the values have to be decided for each competition, and the weight of the values is all differs for what you're looking for. You're looking for a compliance officer or looking for a sales manager. Is that correct? So for every, let's say, working post, you will have a different set of values.
No, in general, you have to use the same test as you tested your company, because you are looking the same, you have to prepare one test. We were discussed that in huge companies, maybe we are looking for different candidates in a different big,
areas,
departments. So you can make a test to check your department value, to check the barometer, how many degree you have, what level you have in your company, and then you we suggest you to look for a candidate who is similar with your numbers. In our application, you can set up what could be discrepancies, like 10%, 50%, or 20%. It depends on the client, and he can, the company can use these discrepancies they want. But we suggested about 10%, not more. than your level, because it's, you know, it will help you. And because if you have a different test, it will not work, because you will test with additional questions, with additional things, for additional things, but not for the same that you test your company.
You can have the same questions, but the weight of the values is different.
Yeah, so that means that you can make the test for a different type of candidates, but first of all, our tool is you know, based on that you match. You are looking for a match, that the candidate will be similar as your company. So it doesn't work like, so our tool will not work like you are asking.
I see some red flags in your face.
if I may follow up on your struggle. One of the famous textbooks in sociology for students is a title by Samuel Huntington and Mr. Harrison, who calls Culture Matters. That means different companies have different cultures, different families have different cultures. Even in your country, my country is also a small country, there's a different culture between the eastern part and the western part. How would you fit that into the equation?
We have a plan, first of all, to make a research regarding these values. We need to make this because we have our company values, and other companies have also their values. We will make a big list with these values, our strategies, our principles. You know, now we are changing the name, but in general it's the same. We will have the list of the values. Then we will have many questions for each value, and the company can choose the best questions they want to use in their tests. Then we will generate and make another stuff like technical stuff. But first things depends on the company. We cannot give a template and say, please use it and it will work for you. No.
Okay, I have one more provocative question for you.
Yeah.
Let's suppose that we have 100% match with the company's values for candidates. 100% match. I play the devil's advocate now. Hyperconformity is a killer to innovation. What would you argue?
Oh my God, why did you do it?
Basically, we are saying that 100% is not good either.
Yeah.
Because
you did it, yeah.
it doesn't happen in the real life. It's not a healthy number as well.
Yeah.
So if the company gets that, so either they need to change the test, recheck how employees or everybody made the test.
That was the 200 points EQ answer. Thank you very much.
Or fire the HR manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is that you said that this tool would work after like measuring the situation in your company. Yes, but after receiving the number, this number would be like average of all answers of your employees. It means that you have much more less number and higher number. Mm-hmm. So if you decide to choose maybe 10% lower or higher for use these numbers for candidates, it means that you are looking better than you are in some situations, yeah?
We were thinking about
we evolved the values that companies are usually writing on the walls, right?
We were thinking about this, and the key is that we want to have, you know, like we don't need that. We can say which our employee choose which exactly test answers. You know, so that's why we cannot say what is the discrepancy between best and the worst answers. So that's why we need to use the average.
But it can still signal that something is wrong with the values and understanding of the values in the company, right? So it's even actually it's a very good example of measuring the temperature. Yep. Yes, Gerimantas.
So you before you mentioned your thoughts about Latvia, Estonia, You already, just curious, you already analyzed your competitors in these countries?
We looked at the competitors within the Europe, but we didn't dive deeper in the market of Latvia and Estonia yet. But this is our plan, as well as creating or thinking about the possible pricing, because it should be minimum. We're still focusing on the idea that this should be a social project and should be as a motivator of the leaders of the companies to measure the degree internally and to make the better decision to go more transparent.
Yes, and we still have time.
I don't have question, but I would like to thank you for coloring our hackathon with your team uniform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And here.
Agla, do you have a question?
Yes, just curious, the methodology of how it's working, all these questions, it's a huge work, and algorithms, it's like from the space. I'm listening. Do you calculate how does it cost?
Actually, we are using our internal brain and the internal competencies.
Internet artificial intelligence.
For now, yes.
Yeah, for now, yes. We have already the logic behind the mathematical calculation. But for example, for the development of the application, we of course would need minimum budget.
$1 million.
We need the code typer. We can say what to type, but we don't type.
Yeah.
So this is it, dear jury, right? Okay, let's spend a moment again with Martina Skanzers and let's listen the opinion of the investor.
Okay, so it's quite interesting because I'm co-founder of the largest recruitment company in Baltics. So, and I know this market. So it's quite tough market, but there are a lot of opportunities in it. So if you want to be in this market, you have to be very, very sharp and to understand what you are doing and how you are doing it, what added value you add to the whole process. So the same as with the first team. So you love your product, you talked about the product, but you haven't talked about how you will sell it. And is it validated or not? So you said what maybe it could be some integrated with other system, and I think it's a very clever way to go to the market. So if you will find some already system in the market, and this system would like to integrate with your system, so maybe it could be the case that you could enter the market in together. Right. But to do it alone, I think it will be very, very difficult, and it will cost quite a lot of money. So just to focus, what is your value, and then just to focus how you enter the market and what partners you will choose. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Wonderful notes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, third team, and good luck with your project. Thank you again for your presentation. So everyone, this is it, their jury. Now it's that moment. It's that moment to make that tough decision. We need to get to know who is the winner of 15,000 euro prize and who is the second on the third winning team. Obviously, everyone is already a winner to be here today, right? But as at this point, for everyone who is watching us, we will be moving to a 15 minutes break while the jury will make a decision. And for everyone to remember, I would like to also to know that Drago Kos and Mr. Martin Krutner will not be evaluating a team named Nabu because of the potential to have a conflict of interest, right? So, but sorry, a positive one, yes. So we will double the marks of Agle Radvile and Roberto Perez Roca. So in order to make it as transparent as possible. Once again, now everyone has time to stretch their legs, to have some maybe a drink and prepare. It's still Friday, right, everyone? Let's not forget that. And please come back in 15 minutes for the grand final and award show. You would like to stay here?
A year ago, my home city of Vilnius called itself the G-spot of Europe. As you can imagine, that caused quite a stir both inside and outside the country, with even John Oliver commenting on the topic.
That's real. That is real. The new tourism campaign of Vilnius is Vilnius, the G-spot of Europe.
I think this campaign did quite a bit to help people learn that Vilnius exists, but it didn't go too much into detail on what the city is about, and that is exactly why I'm making this video. I want to tell you everything you need to know about the city I was born and raised in, with the hopes that one day you'll come explore it on your own and have yourself a pleasurable time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy! According to a legend, Vilnius was established by Duke Gediminas in the early 14th century after his dream of an iron wolf howling on top of a hill. Whether the legend is true or not, the city actually appeared in writing in 1323 and later in the same century became an important city, as it was the capital of what was at the time Europe's largest country. It was a very tolerant city where Muslim, Tatars, Lutheran, German merchants, Jewish craftsmen, the Catholic Lithuanian and Polish elite, and pagan Lithuanian commoners lived side by side peacefully. As the richness of the city grew, more and more palaces, churches, and monasteries adorned its narrow streets. Its crown jewel, Vilnius University, was established in 1579 and became a primary center of science and education in Eastern Europe. The prosperous centuries came to a horrible halt in mid-17th century when the Lithuanian-Polish Commonwealth lost a series of wars against foreign invaders that led to the Russian Empire capturing Vilnius in 1795. Throughout the next 120 years of Russian rule, Vilnius was made a backwater of the Russian Empire, with a population of as few as 50,000 people at times. The city kept being occupied by different armies: Napoleon's France, Pilsudski's Poland, Nazi Germany, and eventually fell to the hands of the Soviet Union. The Soviet rule was a time of Lithuanian heritage neglect. However, Vilnius persevered, sustaining its artistic spirit, even while a lot of its historic buildings got abandoned and huge grey apartment blocks were developed. After our independence, the city kept growing, changing, and developing every single year, becoming so active, fun, tolerant, and modern that I can honestly say I'm incredibly proud to have been born and raised here. The city center of Vilnius consists of 5 major areas. The Old Town. It's one of the largest surviving medieval old towns in Europe that's developed over the course of many centuries, and thus it is a place where some of Europe's greatest architectural styles, Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque, stand side by side everywhere you go. The Republic of Užupis. The self-proclaimed Republic of Užupis is our bohemian and artistic district. It's situated behind a tiny river and is full of tiny shops, restaurants, and even art galleries that are all so cozy you'll never want to leave. Šnipiškės. This place used to be one of the dodgiest areas of the city, but then it got redeveloped to our main business district that's home to many banks and internet startups. Speaking of startups, the Financial Times has recently named Vilnius the #1 city in the world for attracting tech startups. Žvėrynas. This district is known to be the greenest area of central Vilnius, as it used to be a large forest where the noblemen hunted. Žvėrynas feels very different to most other places in Vilnius, as its architecture and atmosphere still resemble the old days. Finally, the New Town. This area is really interesting as it's experiencing an incredible redevelopment campaign, making this one of our most hip and cool districts. Vilnius is not a true international metropolis yet, but it's ethnically diverse. Around 65% of the people are ethnic Lithuanian, while 14% are Polish, 12% Russian, and 9% come from one of as many as 128 ethnicities that live here. When you finally come visit, don't be surprised to find yourself interacting with a Chinese restaurant owner, an Ecuadorian IT specialist, a Ukrainian barista, or a Dutch businessman. Even though throughout my travels I met literally hundreds of wonderful people from all around the world, but my heart, it always takes me back to the people in my hometown, who might sometimes be a little cold or direct, but they're always honest. They are the people of the heart. They are my people. These days, Vilnius is a youthful and vibrant city full of incredible things to do and lots of beautiful nature, since well over half of the city's area is covered by greenery. In the city center, you can find gorgeous parks anywhere you go that are all very inviting. Our city center is very much walkable from anywhere to anywhere, but we also have loads of transportation options, from car-hailing applications and taxis, to electric scooters and two-story tourist buses, to, I know you never expected this, hot air balloons! I don't know if you know this, but Vilnius is one of the very few cities in the world that allow hot air ballooning in its skies. You can literally take off in the city center and fly all over the place, enjoying the gorgeous, gorgeous views. This all seems really epic, but let's get back down to earth. Even though we have all these awesome transportation options, but nothing beats a good old Soviet trolley bus that was cool even before Elon Musk invented his Teslas. A ticket to ride this time machine barely costs €1, and it's definitely worth your money. Trust me, I know. I grew up with these things. Since you obviously didn't come here to see me crying, let's move on to something a bit more exciting. Food. Vilnius is home to hundreds of restaurants, bars, and cafes that offer all foods and drinks your heart will ever desire. However, I must be really honest with you. Vilnius used to be a very affordable place back in the day, but after we got the euro, it became a little pricey. So even though we have all these amazing food options available, you might also want to look into trying some of our delicious kebabs. They're €3 each, and I mean, they could be worse. This, of course, isn't addressed to you if you're coming from Norway or Singapore or Switzerland. You guys certainly won't have to eat no kebabs. You'll be eating fine foods. Okay. Now that we've all had a great meal, it's time to explore. If you're into touristy sites, here are the top 5 places you definitely cannot miss. Gediminas Tower. This is the most famous of Vilnius' touristy sites that's been looking over our city for over 600 years. 3 Crosses, an awe-inspiring religious monument from which you can see a spectacular panorama of our old town. Cathedral and the Palace of the Grand Dukes, 2 touristy sites at the heart of Vilnius that will inspire even the most uninspired tourist. Vilnius University. Founded in the 16th century, it was the first university in the Baltic states that will certainly take you back in time. Church of St. Anne. It is a prominent example of Gothic architecture that was built in the 15th century. This church might very well be one of our most beautiful. Cathedrals, universities, and churches are all really nice, but there's so much more to Vilnius that you should explore. Do not forget our cultural spots, such as National Gallery of Art, Contemporary Art Center, and Mo Museum, where you'll find enough art to fill your heart's content. Vingis Park. This park is by far one of my favorite places to relax in Vilnius. It's a huge park literally in the city center that just seems to never end. Halės Market. This local market was established well over 100 years ago and is busy with action more than ever. TV Tower. Standing at 326 meters above the ground, the TV tower is the tallest construction in Lithuania that features a rotating cafeteria giving you a 360-degree view of the whole city. I don't know if you know this, but a large part of HBO's award-winning Chernobyl TV series was filmed in this tiny district of Vilnius. If you want a taste of Soviet apartment architecture, this is your place. There's so much more I'd like to tell you about Vilnius, but I don't think that's a good idea because all the things I could ever say will never match you actually coming here and exploring the city on your own. Do it, you bloody legend, as soon as you can. In the meantime, help me spread the word about the city I was born and raised in by sharing this video on your social media with the hashtag ExploreVilnius and telling your friends how much you know about it. Thank you so much for watching the whole video, and see you next time.
Wait, what, sorry?
Vilnius. Ah, Vilnius.
It's,
Vilnius.
Which one?
Vilnius. It's Austria.
Welcome to Vilnius, Austria, the undiscovered jewel of the Alps. Vilnius is characterized by having most of its landmarks just a few minutes away from each other by foot. This admirable city is in the heart of Austria.
Vilnius? In Italy?
In the heart of Italy, being its most well-kept secret. Its effervescent streets and colorful markets make it a perfect destination for any traveler. For obvious reasons, Vilnius is the pride of Italy. I mean, the pride of Finland. Vilnius's old town, considered one of the biggest in the region, is crowned by the majestic Gedimino Tower, where travelers like this young fellow, hello there, buddy, can have the same view that the old ruler of Finland, the old ruler of Venezuela.
Sweden?
I mean, Sweden.
Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Ethiopia.
Of Ethiopia.
Romania.
What if I told you that Vilnius is the capital of Lithuania?
Oh, would never know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes!
Welcome to Vilnius, Lithuania.
Mhm. So, welcome back everyone, all the participants, all the viewers that spend this amazing day together at this beautiful grand final of the Integrity Hackathon. This is the tipping point of our event, or maybe the last main part of our event. And it is my pleasure to remind you that this is the project that was continuing for 3 amazing months. So many people, so many ideas, and today we had a chance to look at the 3 finalists. And this is the moment where we will announce the winners. We will get to know who is winning the grand prize of 15,000 euros worth of chance to study in any of the universities they would like to choose from, to get mentorship and to further develop their idea using the top-notch experts from those fields. Of course, we would like to thank each and every one who participated in this project, because you don't have to win in order to make a true impact. But at this point, I'd like to turn to my colleague for today, head of the jury, Martin Krutner, and I would like to remind you that Mr. Martin is Dean Emeritus at International Anti-Corruption Academy and also represents International Council. At this point, Mr. Martin, why do you think these kind of, let's say, initiatives are truly important for our continent and for our future?
Let me first of all state that we saw 3, and we see 3 winners here. It's not only 3 winners for the hackathon, but I think we are all winners from the ideas that they have presented, and I do really hope that these ideas can then further implemented by a variety of agencies, and hope, and I'm positive about that, make the world in small steps, but gradually a safer and a most fairer place. So chapeau to all that participated today. It was a very, very close run. I may say that already.
At that
stage.
Tension in the jury?
No, it wasn't tension, but what was the case is that I may be allowed to very, very briefly inform our participants about the methodology of how we came to the results.
It's a transparency hackathon.
Absolutely,
you know? Yeah,
absolutely.
let's be transparent here.
That means we really consulted quite intensively among us before voting, and then separately we voted on different parameters, always keeping in mind what the entire thing was all about. It was about fighting corruption, it was about presenting new ideas, it also was, of course, about the applicability of these new ideas. But again, let me please stress that we saw 3 winners already. And without giving you the final results already, that may take still a few more minutes. What I can say already is when we saw ourselves the results, meaning when all the points were totaled up and summarized, I may say that all 3 of them were in a range of less than 5% difference. So,
wow.
So close we were with the project to each other. And that was not intended.
Okay, but Mr. Martin, if we step back a bit and if we reflect about this specific hackathon, what is your personal, let's say, reflection towards all of the teams that were participating, all of the ideas that were tackled, and I mean even the ones that didn't reach to the final?
First of all, we saw lots of really good ideas. What specifically impressed quite many of the jurors and referees was the passion and was the commitment that these ideas were presented. So one could see that it was not some technical issues that the teams presented to the audience, but there was also involved what we would say not only the brain but also the heart, and that's very important in fighting corruption. That means if you approach it technically only, of course you can achieve a few successes, but if there is not really also the heart involved, if there is not really also the stamina involved and the passion involved, then things won't work out successfully. So also in this context, we would really like to congratulate all the teams, especially those that made it to the finals, because they really have presented the ideas with this passion. And also maybe a final thing that we could see is, and that actually was also one of the parameters we had for them, is we wanted to see an improvement from the semifinals to today. And if I may say, with one or two teams, we even saw an improvement once we had the first round of informal discussions this morning, telling them what they should focus on in their presentation. With one or two teams, we even saw a huge improvement from this morning up to till this afternoon.
Even today, right?
Even today.
Okay, but Mr. Martin, we're having so many people that are watching us right now, and maybe they didn't form a team, they didn't participate in the semifinals. What would be your message to these people? Because obviously they do care about democracy, they do care about anti-corruption. So if I would ask you one message that you would like to send to each and everyone who is watching us now or will be watching the recorded version.
I guess you're referring.
Yeah, it's your presidential speech.
I guess you're referring to my gray hair or to my white. Actually, when I started fighting corruption, I had black hair. But okay, forget that. No, but that brings
so
me.
Don't do it. Obviously, don't do it.
But that brings me already to the point. That brings me already to the point. Fighting corruption is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay, so never give up. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, never give up. And it's the evolutionary approach that brings success, very rarely the revolutionary thing. So think the midterm and long-term perspective and keep pushing and you will achieve success.
Brilliant words. Can I ask for a round of applause for that?
It's the gray hair.
Understood. Okay, so I believe it's about time. Yeah.
For what?
For the third team to be awarded.
Really?
What do you think?
You want to see results?
I would like to.
Yeah?
Yes. Do we have a drum sound, something like tension?
How about confidentiality?
You hear it? You hear it? Everyone's waiting for the third team, the third position. It's still a winning position. It's easy. Today we have 3 winners.
We have 3 winners. And
yes.
I really would like to emphasize that, as I said, very, very close, within 5% range of a total score that goes above 300 points. Everyone's within a 5% range. So the third winner
is
of today
is
Vilnius Company.
Congratulations! Congratulations! I'd like to invite all the team from Vilnius Vystymo Kompanija. Karolina, Urte, please join us on the stage. Yay! You don't hear, but on the broadcast there's the music now being played. Yeah, okay. So once again, congratulations. We do have the presents from. Of course, you want something, right? Yeah, goody. If you could come closer to us, maybe then you will look better on the broadcast, and we will be able to make a better snapshots. Yeah, please come in. And I'd like to also use a chance, because still you already won. Your participation is already a winning position, and you got the third position. But maybe you'd like to thank your producers, your mom, for supporting you, and everyone else that. And maybe can you give a bit of a reflection? So how was the participation, and why would you encourage other teams to join the future hackathons?
Yeah, so
27 questions, so choose the one you like.
So first of all, thank you for the jury, thank you for the organizers to making this happen, because it was a great opportunity to see that the idea of anti-corruption or transparency is alive, and as you mentioned, it's still marathon, and we can learn from each other and implement it in daily businesses. Especially, I want to thank the team, because it is the brain of this project and the brain of our company, basically. And we want to say once again that it is really highly important to us to move forward with anti-corruption idea, transparency idea, and maybe get to know everyone and share the passion and the knowledge. So once again, thank you.
Amazing. At this point, are you going to pursue your idea? Will you develop it?
Basically, we have the spirit to do that.
What else do you need?
You have the responsibility actually
and
now.
responsibility
You're one of the
now. Yeah,
winners.
yeah. So what we need time, and I believe maybe a little bit bigger team because there are a lot to do, and of course, good planning, strategic, and just move forward.
And maybe the last question that I was asking, so would you encourage other people to join such events as this one, and why?
Especially companies, public companies, because here in Lithuania we had quite a lot of problems regarding transparency, and we can find within these type of projects either tools, either ideas which we can use, and we can use not tomorrow. We already can use that yesterday. So basically,
wow,
please
amazing.
participate.
Once again, applause for the third winning team, Vilnius Vystymo Kompanija. Thank you so much, guys, for participation, and please continue to develop your idea. It's truly an inspiring one. Okay, Mr. Martin, now we would like to invite the two remaining teams to join us both on the stage. Guys, can you join us now? Obviously, there will be one team that got the first prize, right?
Most likely. We were considering going with either draw of lots or giving them...
we don't want to be in the middle. Maybe let's be here, guys. So let's be very optimized, right? We don't have a very big stage. Okay, and I just got the message. We have to go further to the front. So at this point, we have like 19 more minutes to waste of everyone's time. So what is the overall feeling today, Mr. Martin?
The overall feeling is a feeling of, on the one side, satisfaction, of course, because lots of interesting ideas have been presented to us. And as already said, with lots of passion, with lots of stamina, with lots of commitment. And as I said before, with this presentation of ideas, there also comes responsibility, meaning to follow up on the projects, to pursue with the ideas that were presented. And one can only wish all the teams, actually, starting from the 13s that were here virtually and physically in the semifinals, and the remaining 3, that they continue on their path, and then that they, as I said, contribute to, with their projects, contribute to the benefit of their own societies, but with us also to the benefit of the regions, and eventually for all of us.
Okay, you did had, I saw a heated discussion. We do have 2 teams here. So maybe what would be the main points that you heard from the other jury members, or what were the key things that, for example, the teams could improve in the future? What would be some slight reflection before we announce the winners?
Let me first of all maybe outline that it was our understanding, and that was also by unanimous understanding, that we have 2 different ideas here, of course, on the table. That means both projects, both ideas, actually all 3 ideas have their merits, have their also unique selling or proposition. So they are not really one-to-one comparable. Maybe one thing that I would also like to stress is this was an anti-corruption hackathon. That means we really tried to the extent possible see it from a professional point of view. That means we try, and we succeeded in keeping politics out of the competition. And both remaining, including also the 3rd winner, have ideas have high potentials, and I can only encourage both teams, whatever the final result is. Maybe we still need to draw lots, you know. Whatever the final result is, that they take over this responsibility in continuing with the development of their program. Both projects have, as I said, are worth implementing and should be implemented.
Amazing, and Mr. Martin, I do get the message that our advertising break is because we have so many sponsors, we need to broadcast them also, so it's approaching very fast, so we don't have that much time. So let's make it fast. So
You're complaining about the length of my answers, or what?
No, I'm just saying, like, we will be cut off soon, you know. Okay, so at this point, so who gets the 2nd place?
It's results again?
Yes.
You already had results.
Okay, so everyone is the winner. I heard this, but who gets the 2nd place? It's like you don't remember, right?
I have to be sure, you know. If you make,
Okay,
if you make
okay.
a mistake now,
Okay.
then boo, 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 boo. It's very close.
I know.
Both of them are very close.
Yes.
Yeah?
So who gets?
Can I reconcile with my team?
1 minute.
No necessity to reconcile. But as I said, also the second place needs to be implemented because it has a huge potential. And we would like really to see that getting into fruition. So the second place goes to?
The team named?
Faircheck.
Faircheck, congratulations! Second team. Wait for it, wait for it. Does anyone wants to say something? Don't be so sad, it's still a winning position.
No sats. Actually, we will be going on with this project. It's 15,000, it's nothing for us, so it's not a problem.
That sounded insulting,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God.
Fair enough.
It hurts, it hurts.
Yeah, so, yeah, we will make this a good step for us to move forward, and thank you very much for organizing this. It led us to be as a part of a team and to make a kick for ourselves to go forward, I think, yeah? Yeah, guys, so thank you.
Amazing, amazing guys. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much and good luck with what you do. Next year, we're expecting for this project to already be accomplished and running. Yes? We'll talk about the financing later. Okay, thank you so much. And Mr. Martin, I believe we have very important question now to solve. So who got the first place? Okay, can I ask for a grand prize?
I thought this jury would be given the first place. No?
It's like,
did I mistake something? No.
Look, they already wrote it down here.
Oh, okay.
Nice, right?
Great.
So who got the first place?
If I may say why. Why?
Why
And
the first place?
Let me
Okay.
recall that, as I stressed before, first, second, and third place were close to each other, less than 5% of overall points. Okay, so it was really very, very close. What made the difference by the end of the day, obviously, was that we recalled what was the original purpose of the hackathon, and that was to improve, in very concrete terms, the life of anti-corruption authorities, anti-corruption in general, preventional issues, fighting issues, educational issues, and also to get the general populace on board, to get the general people on board. And one question also was practicability and applicability. Strange words, complicated words.
It's Friday, I know.
Most likely, without arguing for the other juries, but my guess is most likely that was the final minor point that made it for the winning team.
So,
which is?
the first place in the International Integrity Hackathon goes to...
Nabu.
Nabu! Congratulations! Some words to your mom, to your dad, to the producers, to everyone who supported you, and anything else you'd like to say.
Well, thank you.
You should hold it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was really a great honor to be here. Thank all of you that you believed in us, that you believed in our project, as we do. Actually, we were talking with each other like just before this announcement of the results that besides the results, we will do this project. We already have everything to implement it, and it is really important, and we won't stop in the fight against corruption. And this is like the second good news for us today, because the first one is our Kherson now is free. Yeah, and liberated. So Ukraine will win this war, and Ukraine will win definitely the war against corruption. So thank you for supporting us in that. Yeah.
Let's not forget. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
I mean the war against corruption.
Yeah.
The second thing is, with winning the prize comes an obligation.
Yeah.
The obligation is to implement it.
Of course.
We might visit your country in a year's time, in 2 years' time, and check that on site.
We can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our Instagram page. We will publish all the results
And
there
maybe
too.
a final remark also is another argument, obviously, in the accounting was that with your project, we also saw the highest level of improvement in the course of the hackathon. You know, that means once you presented the idea, the semifinals, it wasn't vague, it was a nice idea, but we really saw that you implemented lots of additional steps, including also the follow-up process that you implemented most likely over the last hours, the last days, I guess, and that provides for a way forward. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations. First place, Team Naboo. Okay, and as of this, to everyone who was watching, who is still watching, and who will be watching, thank you again for spending such a nice day together. Thank you so much for participation, for everyone who participated in the Integrity Hackathon 2022. Never stop fighting, as it was said today. Never agree with corruption. Always search for the places that you can start from yourself and do something for a better future tomorrow. Thank you again for participation, and hopefully we will meet again next year. Good luck.